Here we are. We are back at the 27th Annual Magnolia Independent Film Festival, and we are here with some of the cast and crew of Io's Lament, right? Yes? Yeah. Okay, and so can you guys all introduce yourself for the folks at home?
Sure. I'm Karis Glenn, and I am the writer, producer, and lead actor of Io's Lament.
I'm Tristan Hallman. I'm the director of Io's Lament.
I'm JD Starnes, and I play Evan in Io's Lament.
Okay, great. So, this was a cool story, and I don't want to give away spoilers. I try to do this every time. I don't want to give away spoilers, but I want to ask you questions. So if I start dipping into territory, y'all just give me like the timeout button or something. So obviously, the Io, the name, is a reference to the Greek kind of Greek mythology character of Io, and so I noticed that I had to. I'll be honest, I was big into like Greek and Roman mythology as a kid, and so I recognized that, and I had to go look it up again to refresh my memory. But y'all had a lot of good little Easter eggs, in my opinion, all throughout it.
Picking up on that.
Like the cows everywhere. So for the folks at home, Zeus gets the hots for Io because Zeus is a little awful horn dog, as all Greek gods are, and so. But he is the worst, and so he wants to hide Io from his wife because he's married, and so he changes her into a heifer. He changes her into a cow. And then hides her and like sneaks her out of Greece into like Egypt or somewhere like that, I think. And so in the house there were like the salt and pepper shakers and like all the decorations and stuff. Was there anything else, like that one just jumped out at me? But were there any other little Easter eggs that I guess that kind of paralleled the story of Io?
Well, there's the cow B-roll at the beginning, and just lots of cows throughout. Shout out to Copy Cow in Starkville. I actually went there, I just wanted their one little magnet on the wall, and they were like, oh, you need cow stuff?
Yeah.
And they came out with a box, so.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
We had all sorts of small inserts that just were filled with the cows that just kind of, if you're looking, if you're aware of the Io story, then you're like, I see that, I catch that, it makes sense. So it was kind of sprinkled throughout. So
right, yeah.
We're trying to be Chick-fil-A as much as
There were some Chick-fil-A ones in the box that I couldn't.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
So aside from that, so this wasn't a 48-hour. We've been talking to some of the 48-hour submissions. You guys had more time than this. How long did you guys work on this? Let's just say start to finish, so like writing and everything.
Karis, you wrote it. So.
I wrote it 2.5 years ago, just as something I thought maybe one day I could shoot. And then Tristan joined a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. At this point. Yeah. And then we were looking for funding for about a year and a half, couple months of pre-production, 3 days of shooting, and Tristan rushed that edit. Really hard to get in for this festival, which was very important.
About 4 months, 5 months of post.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was. Quick turnaround.
It sounds like it.
For that. It was about a 21-minute film that originally was about a 30-minute film, and we cut down significantly to be about 21 minutes to cut out the fat out of it. So.
Gotcha. Okay,
No
very
pun
cool.
intended.
Heather, did you have any questions? I just feel like I'm dominating the
so
conversation.
who was your musical director? Did y'all do that, or did you have any decision? Who made the decisions for the musical direction of the?
That was primarily me. A lot of our music was licensed through Epidemic Sound, so a lot of that was in post. But as well as that, Karis had a friend who was a composer. I can't remember his name.
Oh, well, I had a friend who recorded a little bit of guitar music for it, which eventually, it didn't quite work in the scene, so it got switched out.
It was great. It helped me at least edit with it. And then not only that, a good friend of mine, Harry Shaw, he's a singer-songwriter, and he gave us some really good acoustic stuff to go with that Southern Gothic style we were going for. But yeah, primarily Epidemic Sound was what we licensed through.
Okay. Because I feel like that, to me, really stood out about the film, that there was a lot of great musical score going on, so I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Thank you.
So if I could just ask another question. To jump back to, I guess, Io, or the correlation between the main character and what is your character's name? I forget.
Io.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Of course it is. Io's Lament. No, but how much parallel was there between Io herself, the character that you played, and the Io of Greek mythology? Because your character makes some stunningly bad decisions, it seems like, if that's all right to say.
That's fair enough.
There's some questionable calls there.
Absolutely.
But we feel for her, we do feel for her.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a young teenage girl. She's gotten herself in a bad situation. Her dad is not being supportive, to say the least, right? And so she's just kind of she's all spun up in her head and she doesn't know what to do. So she's frantic and she freaks out and she makes decisions and they're not necessarily the best.
Yeah. I would say it's definitely not a retelling of Io. It was written without her name being Io, and then I saw a play that featured Io and I was like, oh, I forgot about that story. That would be a good one. So it was more of like a hint at her backstory more than anything. There's different versions of the myth. So in some it was like, I think Hera that turned her into a cow, but the main thing being that she's this young girl who was seduced, got pregnant, and was sort of cast out to like wander the earth. So it was more like taking that bit and that character of like the lost like girl and seeing where she goes from there. I think the rest of it is just its own story.
Yeah.
So the lady, the house that she comes upon, the lady, I forget her name. Emily. Is there any correlation there between like Emily and Hera or anything?
No, really, primarily, like Kara said, it was up until the point where she goes on her path of wandering. And after that, we kind of, Kara's filled in the holes from there and just kind of let it roam. And I took it a lot as almost in a way of what we're willing to do to protect ourselves and those we care about, right? In a weird semblance of not necessarily greed, but just protecting ourselves. And so from just essentially the first 5 minutes, I feel like is really based on the Greek mythology. And after that, we kind of skewed off and took our own path of wandering. So.
Yeah. That feels accurate now looking back at it. So yeah, 100%. Very cool. Guys, is there anything else you would like to say about your film? Or
JD, you have anything to say about the acting? I feel like we haven't heard from you.
Oh, we haven't. I apologize. Well,
My mother was in a freezer, so that was pretty traumatizing. Yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad.
she was very frigid. He means she was very frigid.
Yeah, very cold. Yeah, this is my first time at any film festival ever, and to have a film premiere in it, period, was really cool. So it's been an amazing experience. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Are you from around here as well? Or?
No, I'm from Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you guys get hooked up, or did we already?
I literally
that?
auditioned on Actors Access, and then we all became fast friends.
Excellent.
So,
yeah.
I mean, most for us and our friends, it was nepotism, honestly, which is what it always is. They were our friends. And we thought they were talented. But
I am no nepo baby. No, it was.
I thought I wasn't until today, I guess.
No. Absolutely. Karis grew up in Mississippi, and I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, so not too far out. And we wanted to tell Southern stories down in the South, and that was really important to me and Karis. And going through the auditions, we had tons and tons of people audition, which I'm grateful for alone in that process. And JD's actually tape for Evan was the last one I looked at, and I had originally almost cast it for a really close friend of mine who's an actor, and he's incredible as well. I just stumbled upon JD's tape last minute, and to me that he played the role exactly how I pictured it in my head, and I'm very grateful for JD hopping on, and JD was
Man,
fantastic.
quit flirting with me, bro.
I see the sparks of romance. Now, if one of you turns up pregnant and gets cast out, that's not our problem, okay?
Don't put my mom in a freezer.
Pick a new animal. Cow is already taken.
Cow's taken. Cow's
It's like
taken.
the lobster. Like you get to choose which animal you
There you go.
Exactly. Thank you all so much for being here at the Magnolia.
Yeah, good stuff.
We're
Enjoyed
so
it.
excited to have
Thank
you
you so much. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Oops.
Good to see you, man. I really enjoyed it. Good
Nice to meet
performance.
you.
Yeah.